Uh, Welcome to a Man City podcast with me, Ben, and Yannicka, who's I think she's. Have you been on the podcast before? I think.
I think I think once or twice.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
it
it.
might have been. It might have been like the top four debate or something like that.
Yeah.
I think something like that. But you have been on once before. But yeah. Anyway, this
Yeah.
is a new show about Man City, and thought we'd talk about transfers. I mean, and the major one that's actually sort of official is Kane for 100 million, which I think has been turned down. Um,
Yeah.
and there's rumours that they're willing to offer. Um, was it Sterling, Laporte, or Jesus, or some those sort of players? Which
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I can understand Jesus, but and I know Laporte wants more game time, but I don't really get Sterling Laporte being offered as part of it. But Jesus maybe. I don't know what you think about that.
I think Spurs are cheeky for a start because 100 million is a lot. Is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, Harry Kane is he has been the best striker in the league, so I understand maybe paying that. But to then want a player on top
Mm,
and then turn it down anyway, like it's like how much do they really want? And if you think about the players that are being offered, even Gabby, like he's a young guy, like he's quite a bit younger than Kane. So yeah, he should be quite a bit of money, you know what I mean? Even though he's not been at his best for Man City, he still is a quality player.
mm,
So I don't I don't know, because the players that they're after are 50 plus million from
yeah,
our side. And then
yeah,
they want 100 million on top for Kane. So yeah, I think they're cheeky for starters. Secondly, I don't see any of our players wanting to join Spurs, if I'm
no,
being honest.
yeah,
Because you've gone from guaranteed trophies to no guarantee of ever winning a trophy.
mm,
It's that it's
yeah,
that simple. So yeah, I can't see. I think a lot of our players would probably rather go to like a German team or a Spanish team where they might play more, but then they also could win something. I think Tottenham, with the league the way it is, there's so many strong teams. I don't think, unless Chelsea, City, Liverpool, United, all have a terrible season, I
yeah,
don't think they'll win trophies. So yeah, it's
yeah.
one of them.
Yeah, I think, I mean, like you say, 100 million is a lot of money, and we've never spent over 60 on a player. But I think it shows how desperately we need a striker.
Yeah,
Um, but I think also that I think 100 million is our limit for that, because I think if they go
yeah,
over that, then they'd rather spend that sort of money on Haaland because he's younger
yeah,
and less injury prone.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, like you say, with the even with like Jesus as an option, like I know their valuation is 120 million for him,
yeah,
and those players are worth more than 20 million.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
it is cheeky, but I guess it depends how much they want that striker,
yeah,
because we can't go into another season without a striker. Like we can play a false nine, but you can't play a full season with
yeah,
the false nine. And no disrespect to Jesus, like he's a like I say he's a quality player, but he's a winger really.
yeah. He's not a striker.
He's not a
Definitely.
striker because I mean his
Yeah.
finishing is a winger's finishing, and when he plays on the wing for us, he's a lot better.
Yeah, he's better, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so
you can tell because like when he plays in Brazil, from what I saw of him before he joined Man City, he was playing out wide and cutting in and then
yeah,
scoring. That's what he was doing, and he does it for Brazil. I just think like a striker to me, when they get in the box, they look to shoot. So that's what Aguero does. He
mm,
looks to shoot the minute he gets in the box.
yeah,
Um, he looks to pass. So he's not a striker because a striker would look to shoot. He looks to
yeah,
pass. So yeah, it's things like that. I think he doesn't score enough goals to be a striker as well. Even
yeah.
if he claimed to be a striker, he doesn't score enough goals. So we definitely need one. I'm not a massive fan of Harry Kane, I have to say. Obviously, he would score lots of goals. I know that
Yeah,
he's a great striker.
yeah,
Um, a lot of people take it as you discrediting him. I'm not discrediting him. I just would rather get like a Haaland
yeah.
over him,
I
or
think,
even an Mbappe who's a bit more versatile. That's what I would prefer. If he was 60, 70 mil, I'd say go get Harry Kane.
Mm.
But when he's like the price that he is, because I think Levy is he's not gonna take 100 mil. What he's gonna do, I think my internet's a bit bad, but what he's gonna do is he's gonna push and push and push until Man City just drop out.
Yeah.
And then Chelsea might come in with an offer, and maybe he accepts that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think Harry Kane's going to be forced to stay because he's not going to give him up, which he shouldn't, because he's their best player, so he should try and keep him. And I just think Harry Kane's going to be stuck there because I don't think City. We've seen it with Van Dijk. We needed Van Dijk. We needed him, and we still wouldn't go over a certain amount of money. So I don't think Man City go too much over 100 mil. They might say maybe 110, but I don't think they're going to go. They're not going to go to 120, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I mean, I sort of agree with you on, like, I'd rather have Haaland over Kane because, like we were saying, he's younger, less injury prone. But like I mean, like you say, there's no denying Harry Kane's a quality finisher, so he will score like a lot of goals for us. He'll finish a lot of those chances that we create. But like you say, Levy is not gonna let him go for as long as he can possibly keep him. He'll keep him basically. Like he might have to wait until the end of his contract because I know he signed a new one, didn't he? So he's gonna be.
I think he's got 4 years.
Yeah, so
that's why they want the money that they want. But it's just gonna be, I don't know. But then I don't think because I know he signed a contract under Poch, but the thing is, when he signed that contract, Spurs hadn't won anything, and yes, they were getting better, but sign a 2-year deal. Don't sign a 4-year deal because he knew Tottenham. It's not like Tottenham were winning trophies and then they stopped. It's not like he joined a Chelsea and Chelsea, were winning. He joined, they weren't winning, and he thought, okay, they're going to win again soon. Like, Tottenham haven't been winning trophies. So for him to sign a 4-year contract and now, like, play the hard done by, poor me, I'm not going to win a trophy, that's on him because he agreed to stay there knowing, it's kind of like a lot of people are saying about Pogba at Man United. If he renews his deal, he can't then complain that Man United are not what he expected, because it's like, if you have ambition, you would leave, because clearly Man United are not going to do what he wants them to do. So move to a different team and win what you want to win. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But I think Harry Kane shouldn't have signed his last contract, if I'm being honest. And that's why I don't feel sorry for him. If he ends up stuck at Tottenham, that's on him.
So did he sign it when Poch was still manager? Is that right?
I think so. Yeah, because I think it was a 4-year.
Yeah,
5-year.
I guess
it's a 5-year. Yeah.
Playing devil's advocate, like, I mean, I agree with you. Like, he shouldn't have really signed it, but maybe he's thinking, oh, Poch is going to be here for years and years. We're going to be able to get that trophy eventually. Like, we're going in the right direction. And then bang, right, Poch is gone. Mourinho's in. Mourinho's gone. They're getting Nuno now. Like, it's. I mean, their managerial search has been all over the place, all over the shop. So. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, it's always exciting, sort of speculating, but yeah, it was interesting. I guess well, we'll find out after the Euro, when England finish in the Euro, so it could be after Tuesday, or if England go further, like whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's the same with Grealish. I mean, that's not. It's like the rumor was that we're putting 100 million bid, but we've not. Like Fabrizio Romano was saying that we've not actually put in a bid. We're just seriously interested.
Yeah.
And I can see, even though I still think that one's unlikely as well, I can see that one happening more than the Kane one.
Yeah, me too.
And I would take Grealish in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But I think also if it is like close to 100 million bid, it also suggests that money is coming in, players are going to be leaving, like Bernardo, Laporte, Jesus, maybe those sort of players. But because I know Bernardo has been linked with Atletico and Barca, and the rumours are that he's fed up with England and he's fed up with not having he apparently he doesn't like not having the same position each match because it doesn't
Right.
he doesn't
Yeah.
get settled because then you can't really get into the swing of it.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of Pep, really, isn't it? So
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, what's your opinion on Kane?
Uh,
Grealish, sorry.
yeah, I think Grealish, I wouldn't mind Grealish. I don't think we'll get both. I think it will be a case of one or the other, and that might be why we've not put a bid in. We might be waiting to see what happens with Kane. It might be that they say, look, under no circumstances is he leaving, and then I think Man City might go for Grealish, and then maybe next season go for Haaland. That might be the plan. I don't know exactly, but that might be the plan. I've always said the whole transfer thing. I could see us going for Kane, and then getting someone like Andre Silva. I could just see that from a Man City point of view because that's what we tend to do.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. I think Grealish, he loves De Bruyne. Like I think he would do anything to play with De Bruyne. So he would definitely, if Man City are interested, he would definitely kind of push for that. So yeah, I could see us getting Grealish. Probably not both, like I say. So it would depend on what happens with Kane. Yeah, in terms of Bernardo, I have heard the same that he's not that happy. The perfect Pep player plays for Atletico Madrid. And I think that's João Felix. I think he would be absolutely perfect under Pep. Unfortunately, he's in a 7-year contract with some dodgy, like 350 million transfer clause or whatever it is. I don't know. Like it's a bit hard. The only thing that I could think is maybe if the player wanted to leave and they really wanted Bernardo Silva, maybe Man City could kind of do a deal with them and say, right, okay, we'll give you Bernardo Silva and X amount of money, or maybe even 2 players from Man City that they want, and then get, because I don't think many of our players would turn down Atletico Madrid because they're a good side. It's in Spain. I don't think like a Gabby, if Gabby did want to leave, I don't think he would turn down that opportunity. So yeah, it could be a case of we give 2 of our players, and they give us João Felix. But who knows? So yeah, that's an option. Apparently Laporte to Barcelona. The rumors are kind of saying there's no truth to that. I think Laporte should stay because I think next year it's going to be Diaz and Laporte. With Stones coming in. I don't think it's going to be Stones and Diaz with Laporte coming in. So I think he should stay because you never know with form. Like Stones has been really, really good this season, but we know that his form can kind of drop. So I think next season, especially like in that Champions League final, he looked so nervous. And I know Laporte has had his issues in the Champions League, but I think Laporte wouldn't have been as nervous in that game as Stones looked. So yeah, I think maybe next season it might be. I think he'll get more games. So I think Laporte should stay personally.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Laporte should say because I mean he's a quality centre back, and it's like even I know obviously he's not happy to be on the bench. He wants more game time and stuff, but having that caliber of defender to come in if someone gets injured, like it's fantastic. But because I mean, but on Bernardo, I've seen that there's maybe a possible swap deal if he goes to Atletico with is it Saul? Or something?
Yeah. Apparently Pep liked him.
Yeah, and I mean that's okay, but he's more of just an out and out centre mid than Bernardo.
Yeah.
Bernardo can play wing and stuff like that. And then I saw if he goes to Barca, Pep really likes Sergio Roberto, and that's like that is not a comparable that is not, we're not winning in that swap deal. Like
just now.
I know Pep likes him, but Pep can get things wrong like we've seen. So but yeah, I wouldn't really want to see Bernardo go because I think he's a really good player. And I think he plays better on the wing. But if it is that he does want to go and he's not happy, then fair enough. But I mean it's the same with Sane. I love Sane. I thought he was fantastic, but he wanted to go. But
Yeah, I think I don't agree with kind of keeping players that aren't happy. Like if they're
yeah,
not happy, just let them go. Because
yeah,
once you keep them, you know, anything that goes wrong, it's gonna just be like, I want to go out, I want to leave, I want to leave. So it's just better to kind of just let
yeah,
them go, get what you can for them, and you know, try and replace them with a
yeah,
better or a similar player. Do you know what I mean? That's all you can kind of do.
yeah.
So
It's not.
I'm hoping Sane comes back though, because I don't know if it's working out the way he thought. So I wouldn't mind if he came back, you know, because
Yeah,
he's still reasonably young. So
yeah. I know
it'd be nice
because
to see him back.
yeah, I know he part. I mean, part of the reason is obviously it's he wanted to go back to Germany and it's Bayern Munich. Like,
Yeah,
obviously, like fair enough. But like also, I think part of it was that he wanted more game time. He didn't like this
yeah,
rotation and stuff. But he's playing. He's starting the bench quite a lot for Bayern as
yeah,
well. So
yeah. He
um,
wanted to get in the national team as well, which he has.
mm,
So I think because he's got in the Germany squad now, but again, he's not exactly first choice.
mm,
So I don't know. He might because his girlfriend's a City fan. I don't know if you
right.
saw her, you know,
No,
in the final.
no.
she was saying like, come on, City or something like that. So somebody was like, do you not support your man? And she was
Ah,
like, just because my boyfriend plays for a team doesn't mean I have to support that team. I have a connection to Man City. She was probably like saying she's a City fan. I was like, wow,
Good.
okay.
Fair
So
play.
yeah, interesting.
Yeah, no, I didn't see it. I didn't see that. That's good. Yeah. No, I mean, well, it's if he came back, I'd be ecstatic. But
Yeah.
maybe I can't see it. In maybe
Yeah.
maybe in the future, maybe in the
Not
future.
yet.
But yeah. And then I mean, I was sort of talking with this with our mates, and they were we were talking about sort of since Pep's come in, we've never had a proper left back. We just haven't. Like like it just
No.
I don't know what it
No.
is. We just can't seem to get a proper left back. And I don't like so. I mean, when he came in, we had what Clichy and Kolarov. Then we've had the Mendy,
Delph at left back.
Delph, Zinchenko, Cancelo.
Yeah.
I mean, Cancelo plays good there, but he's not a left back.
No.
Um,
Mendy started well, and
yeah,
then after that injury, he's just kind
yeah,
of
never been the
gone
same.
down.
Um, but I've seen. I mean, there was Tagliafico was linked.
Mm,
I don't think that'll happen in the summer, but maybe next summer.
yeah.
Maybe not him, but a left back anyway. And is
Yeah.
it Nuno Mendes,
Yeah.
18-year-old from Sporting? Is it?
Yeah.
He looks good. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know whether that'll happen this summer or next summer. But we definitely are. It definitely is in the plans to get a left back at some point because I don't. It's just the curse that we have with the left backs. I don't
I
know.
know.
I don't know. Like I mean, I'm not even. I mean, Zinchenko has been fantastic there. He's done
Yeah.
a really good job. Like, but he's not a left back.
Not a left back. Yeah.
Um,
Because that's what I was saying. Like in day to day, you know, games, we can kind of get away with it, but I think things like you know a Champions League final and stuff. I just think you need natural left back, right back, natural
yeah,
centre backs, like everyone kind of playing in their natural position in
yeah,
them sort of games where the pressure's on you. So I think things like that. Yeah, I think we definitely will need a left back. I think with Mendes we had some leverage because we had their right back who
right,
actually plays for Man City. So
right.
it made sense because it was like, okay, we could say, right, we'll sell you this player that you have, and then you give us yours and we'll give you some money on top or whatever. But we didn't do that. So I don't really know what's going on there. But they have
Yeah,
said that they're not looking for a left back. So
yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, it would have been nice. It would have been nice, but I'm sure we'll get a left back. It's like in the near
Yeah.
future. And then I was also talking about with my friends about so Fernandinho he's signing a new 1-year contract or supposed to be, but I can't imagine him uh like staying much longer after that. So then it'll be a case of replacing him because obviously got Rodri, but he's a different type
Yeah.
of
Bit different.
defensive midfielder. I think Fernandinho's far better. Rodri does a job, but Fernandinho, what he does in that position,
Yeah.
in that role, And I think we've got a buyback clause on Douglas Luiz from Aston Villa this summer.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think from what I've not really watched a lot of him, from what I've seen, he seems decent. Like, so for 25 million, that seems like, why not?
Yeah.
But I don't know what your opinion is on him.
Yeah, from what I've seen, he looks all right as well. I know some City fans are saying they watch him, he's not good enough, he's not anywhere near the level. I know there's a guy in our youth team, what's he called? Can't remember his name. It's like a black guy, I can't remember his name. But
Gomez.
apparently he's good, and apparently he is in Fernandinho's kind of position, but I don't really watch them. I think he won Player of the Season
Right.
for the youth team, one of the youth teams, but
Right.
they're saying he eventually could be that Fernandinho replacement.
Right.
But obviously we need someone now. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Douglas Luiz under Pep will only get better. So even if he's not quite as good, he could get better under Pep and turn into that. So who knows? But yeah, like you say, 25 million is pretty low risk. He would have been a City player if we could have got a visa. It's not like we wanted to sell him. It was more about us not being able to get a visa. So yeah, I would give him a chance, to be honest. Maybe what they should do if they are going to do that is bring him in this year if they don't get Grealish, because obviously they're not going to get both. But, bring him in this year, see how he does. And then if he isn't good enough, you've got time to maybe get someone else before Fernandinho leaves.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. With City, you never know.
Yeah.
It'd just be some random player we've not heard of come out of the blue and I don't know, because I heard, that Locatelli who's been playing really well.
Yeah.
Like we'd apparently been linked to him for a while, but I'd never seen us linked to him until the Euros, and then people were like, "Oh, he's linked to Man City," and apparently now he's going to end up at Juventus. So yeah, it's just one of them.
I know from the bits of news I've seen that we have been scouting him for a while, but there's like every club under the sun after him, and like Juve have basically got him now. And I mean, it's because he's an Italian player in the Italian league. If Juve come calling, you're not going to go, "Oh no, I'm going."
Yeah.
Like it's like that's just the way it goes in Italy. But yeah, 25 million is peanuts in this market. So yeah, like you say, it's low risk. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Do you want to talk about other teams or like briefly?
Yeah, we can do. Obviously, I know Chelsea were after Hakimi, but he's gone to Inter. Not Inter.
PSG.
He's gone to PSG. PSG, that's the one, from Inter to PSG. But I think with them, like PSG are kind of like that sort of club where a lot of players are because the players around them are so good. Because I think with Chelsea, like Chelsea are a good team, but they don't necessarily have them players that people are going to say, I want to go and play with him. Like, unless you're like Italian and you're good friends with Jorginho or, there's like a link like that. I don't think they quite have them players where people will say, oh, I want to play with them. I think it'd be more, I want to play for Chelsea or I want to play for that team rather than individual players. Whereas PSG, you've got Mbappe, you've got Neymar, you've got, these big stars. And I think with us, it's more De Bruyne. De Bruyne's like, he's like the selling point. He's literally our selling point. We can just say to people, do you want to come play with De Bruyne? And they go, oh, yeah, I wouldn't mind. And, we get them that way. So, yeah, I think it's like that. So I think for Chelsea, they've obviously been linked to Haaland. I think Haaland will probably go next year. It looks like Sancho is going to leave. So I don't think they can get rid of Haaland and Sancho in one window.
Yeah, they don't have to financially either. And obviously, in terms of playing wise, like they'll probably need Haaland as well. But that means there's going to be a frenzy next summer for Haaland with the release clause. But yeah, I mean,
think if Man City go up against Chelsea and they offer the same package, I do think Haaland would pick Man City simply because he has an attachment to Man City. He supports Man City. His dad played for Man City. He's lived in Manchester before. So I think even though people say, oh, the London pull, like, oh, they'll live in London. But I think Haaland could easily pick Man City over Chelsea if it's sort of the same terms and conditions.
Yeah.
I think the only way they'll kind of get him over us is if they bid and we don't, or if they sort of offer more than we're offering. But I think it's interesting because like a lot of Chelsea fans keep saying to me like, oh, well, he wants to join the Champions of Europe. But it's like, actually, the fact that Chelsea have won it probably means that he's less likely to win it, if it makes sense. Because the Champions League is not one of them competitions that you win back to back or you win twice in 3 years, like unless you're Real Madrid. So it's one of them where it's kind of like, if a team's just won it, it probably rules them out the next season. So if you want to win it, you probably better go into a team that haven't won it like that season. Do you know what I mean? Because you're probably less likely to win it. It's like if we'd have won it this year, I don't think we would have won it next year, if you know what I mean. So it's one of them where it's kind of like if you just win it, you're less likely to. And I think that's what the mistake Hazard made. Because even though Hazard had a great career at Chelsea, he went there obviously thinking I'm going to the Champions of Europe. And then obviously they didn't win it when he was there. And then now he's gone to Real Madrid to win it, and they haven't won it since he's got there. So he's kind of missed it at 2 different clubs. So I'm not saying Real Madrid won't win it again because they tend to love that competition, but I think they're sort of at the end of their sort of dominance in terms of that team. So they're going to have to freshen up. They'll probably get Mbappe. So who knows? They might win it again. But yeah, it's just, I think Hazard he's also at sort of the ender stage of his career. So I don't know if he'll win it ever, which is strange. So I don't think Haaland will see it as, if I go to Chelsea, I'll win the Champions. I don't think he'll see it like that. I think he'll go because he wants to join Chelsea, or he'll go because the deal is good, rather than because we won the Champions League. Because I think with City, it's coming. It's just a case of when, not if. So yeah, we'll have to see.
yeah. I mean, like you were saying about Sancho, probably going from Dortmund. I think United have basically all but finished, like finalised that. I mean, he's a good quality player, good signing. But like they'll definitely need a few more, I think. I mean, I was saying this to my mates as well, who are United fans. And they were obviously, taking the mick because we lost Champions League, but they lost Europa League. It's all good.
Yeah.
And I was saying, if United really wanted to, like, sort of push for these trophies, they could go out and sign Varane, sign like Bissouma or is it Zachariah or someone, sign Sancho and sign Kane, and then that's a title winning side. But they won't do that. I know they're linked with a centre back, but they're not gonna buy those players because they obviously there's all the controversy and stuff. But if they really, really wanted to sort of get back to that successful sort of peak, then they would do it. But they they won't.
But I think they're idiots because last season they were linked with Sancho. They couldn't get it over the line. There was only about 10 million in it, and they couldn't kind of get it over the line. And I think last season was probably their best opportunity in a long time to win the league because Liverpool obviously struggled with injuries. Man City weren't great. We were quite bad at the start. Then we kind of were okay. Then we were brilliant for like 21 games. Then we were kind of okay again, and then poor. Quite poor towards the end sort of thing. So it's kind of like we weren't consistently good all through the season.
Yeah.
And it's like they had their best opportunity. And I think if they had Sancho in that team, he could have been the one to kind of get them over the line and maybe they would have won the league. Who knows? But it's just, I think they've missed an opportunity because the thing is with Chelsea now, Chelsea are going to be very, very pumped for it because they've just won the Champions League, so they're going to be pumped for the league, so they'll probably go all out for the Premier League because they've not won it in a little while, so they're going to want that. Man City, obviously we always appreciate the Premier League, so they will try and go back to back if they can. Liverpool are going to have to come back because they've said they finished third because of injuries. So they're going to have to prove that it wasn't just because of injury. It was just because of injuries why they finished third. So they're going to have to do well. So I think the top three, I think is us, Chelsea and Liverpool. So I think Man United, like you say, they would have to go overboard to probably finish above us three, or two of the three even. So yeah, I think they might struggle this year unless they do what you say, because
I think
Sancho on his own is not good enough. I think last season it could have helped them because I think they might have just got over the line, but I think this season they're going to need more.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, when they went top in January, they like if they had Sancho, they could have maybe kicked on from there, but obviously didn't. But
they got a lot of draws.
Yeah.
So
No, it could have been the difference by margin, isn't it? But like you're saying, I think United will still get top four, but like City obviously we're going to strengthen. Chelsea are going to strengthen. Liverpool are going to strengthen, and that like Liverpool last year had the injury problems. Chelsea, they weren't quite at it, so it's going to be a lot more difficult for sort of. I mean, even for to win it, like never mind top four, it's going to be a lot more difficult.
And I think it's the managers as well, because like we've got Pep, who is always consistently strong. They've got, Chelsea have got Tuchel, who, has proven to be, one of the better managers in the league. And then we've got Klopp, who, Klopp seems to get the best out of Liverpool. So with Ollie, I'm not quite sure. Even if he gets Sancho, I'm not even sure whether he will get the best out of Sancho. So I think if they had a different manager, like even if they still had like Jose Mourinho, I know he's a little bit sort of, some of his tactics and stuff are a bit out of date. I still think he would put fear in teams where they think, oh my God, Man United, they've got Sancho, they've got Jose. I just think Ollie, it's kind of like, don't get me wrong, he can beat Pep, he can beat sort of managers on his day, but there was because I remember when Man United were top and I wasn't scared of Man United winning the league. I was like, Man United won't win the league. So it's kind of like, you don't want to be in that situation where you're top and no one thinks you're going to win it. It's not a good, it's not a good situation to be in. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with them.
I mean, I remember seeing a comment and it was like, if United really wanted to get to win the league next year, they'd bring in Conte straight away. Because obviously if they're Conte, that's the fear factor right there.
Exactly.
He's a serial winner. I mean, Solskjaer has done well. He definitely has improved them. But I've seen a lot of people saying he's sort of, because he's sort of that manager who's sort of he's stabilized them and got them into a position where they could possibly, and they just they might need another manager just to push them to that next level. I mean, Ollie might be able to do it himself, but I mean, we don't know. But I mean, like we say, if you bring in a Conte, a manager of that caliber, then you're straight up there.
I think sometimes things can be made worse as well, because it's like, a lot of teams have been saying, trust the process, and they've been kind of saying, it takes a while, and then you get Tuchel coming in and winning the Champions League with Chelsea. And it's like, even though Chelsea had investment, I think they had a good squad. I've never thought Chelsea were kind of shit. Like, they've always had a good squad. They spent a lot of money to get sort of the players in that they needed. And I think they had an okay season. I think they were great in the Champions League. The Premier League was a bit up and down like us. But they didn't end too well in that. But I think Tuchel, like, he's come in and he's just got the ultimate prize, you could say, from a short period of time. So it kind of makes this trust the process thing, kind of, people start questioning it, because it's like, why have I got to wait 4 years for my team to win the Carabao Cup, but he can come in and win the Champions League? So I think, I don't know, like, United fans are not going to be happy even more. I think if Pep had won the Champions League, it would have been like, well, it's City, they're winning everything. It kind of would have given them a bit of an excuse. But the fact that Chelsea have done it when Chelsea aren't at their best, like we've seen them, I think when they had Hazard, they were a better team. But yeah, I think that's going to make things harder for Ollie, because I think people are going to say, look, I want a trophy now. I don't want to wait.
Yeah, I suppose.
Even Arsenal win trophies, and Arsenal are not great, but they're still winning FA Cups. So
yeah,
it's one of them. They need a trophy next season, United, because if not, it's 5 years. 5 years without that trophy.
No, I think. I think next year is sort of a key year for him. If they don't, like I say, if they don't sort of get a trophy or have like an unbelievable season in the Premier League, then they could be looking elsewhere. But yeah, I mean, wait and see. But no, the what do you call? I think, like you say, Chelsea have got a fantastic squad. We've got a fantastic squad. United have got a good first 11, but then not quite the substitutes. Liverpool are similar, really, that they've got a fantastic starting 11, but not quite got the substitutes. But I think that's obviously Liverpool's financial model is a bit different to City's and Chelsea's. But like without injuries, like their starting 11, you would say on balance is better than United's. So they'll be up there. But then it's like you're saying about sort of Tottenham and that like you just can't see them doing it. And so like you got Tottenham and Arsenal just sort of hanging about there, sort of,
And you know what's making it worse is Leicester have also strengthened, and Leicester have got that Daka in, who's a good player. I think under a Leicester sort of, because the thing is, if Daka joined Man City or Liverpool or Man United, he's under pressure straight away to be this fantastic striker. Whereas I think at Leicester, he can kind of go under the radar. And then if he does shine and he has a great season, his price is going to go right up. And if he doesn't, there's not really much pressure on him. So he can kind of take his time, because he's quite young. So he can take his time, and get better and better as the years go on. So I think Leicester, they've strengthened. So they've kind of just narrowly missed out on top 4 quite a few times. I don't see how they get it next year, just because I see all the teams that we've mentioned finishing in the top 4. I can't see how they finish above a Man United, especially if they've got Sancho. So unless there's kind of an upset, or it's a season like this season where everyone's kind of a little bit up and down, I think Leicester will even struggle to get top 4. And I think their squad is better than Arsenal's and Tottenham's. So it's going to be interesting.
No, I mean, it's true. I mean, I guess with Arteta, it's sort of a similar thing with Ollie, where he's, I don't know, like he's sort of stabilized them, but like I don't know whether sort of like he was really good for us, but like he was an assistant. So, but I don't know whether like he's got quite that knowledge. He's got the knowledge, but he's not got quite that something about him that can sort of take Arsenal
back. I think he's going to be a good manager, but I think the job was way too big for him. I think your first job can't be Arsenal. And even if your first job is Arsenal, it needed to be like Arsenal under Arsene Wenger. Where they had players that were still quality, like I think the players that they've got now, like a lot of them are not good enough, for Arsenal. And the ones that are good enough, it's kind of like they're just not really working out. So I think it's a rebuilding project, and I think it's not easy for a manager to come in to that sort of team and change it. So I think he should have taken a different job that he didn't have as much pressure to win, and then maybe gone on to an Arsenal at a later date. I think the same with Lampard. Chelsea was too big.
Mm,
too big a job for him, I
yeah.
think.
Yeah,
So
I mean, he did he
yeah,
did, he
I
did
don't
well in
know.
his first season, Lampard, but as soon as the signings came in, yeah, he didn't quite have
Yeah,
the experience to do it.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I guess it's like um, sort of with Pep, like we say, he's got the experience and he's got all that, and we said like obviously he can make mistakes, but it's not.
yeah.
He doesn't make them often. I was saying this. I was like, Pep's a tinkerer, so he'll
Mm,
tinker all the time, and once or twice it doesn't pay off in a season. But you have to take that with all the good stuff that he
yeah,
does. And
yeah.
unfortunately, that one or two times that it doesn't pay off was the Champions League final,
I know.
which is
Oh
which is
god.
unfortunate. But like he's done so much good for us. Like it's just you just can't really like he's not like you can criticize him, but you just can't like
Yeah.
say that he's a bad manager because I mean three Premier League titles in 4 seasons is fantastic. So
But
yeah,
that's the thing with Pep. Like for me, Pep is a genius, and because he's a genius, he can't go simply from A to B.
mm,
So a regular manager, like an Arteta, like an Ollie, they kind of go A to B, and they just do stuff, and it's quite simple,
mm,
and it either pays off or it doesn't. That sort of thing. But with Pep, he can't do that. He overthinks everything. So in some games it works great, other times it doesn't, and it's like, oh god. But it's like you say, you kind of just have to take that on board. I would rather have a genius who
mm,
gets it wrong sometimes in some key games, but we're gonna win a hell of a lot of trophies
yeah,
rather than a manager that's gonna win us, I don't know, one trophy every 4 years. Like I'd rather have sort of all the trophies and then we maybe miss out on one or two. I
yeah,
think with the Champions League, it's a lot goes into it. The pressure on Man City was immense. Chelsea weren't under any pressure in that
mm,
final. So automatically we start the game under pressure. And you could see it in the players. Chelsea players weren't nervous because they know if they lost, they could have just said, well, it's the best team in England. Like, we were a young team. We've just like they could have made any excuse. Tuchel's new, like
yeah,
they could have made an excuse. So for them, they weren't under pressure. And a lot of like Chelsea fans are not seeing like when I'm saying this, they're like, oh, it's just excuses and stuff like that. But it's like it's actually not. It's factual. We were under a lot of pressure. The same way PSG,
yeah.
when they play in finals, are under a lot of pressure, and it's not easy to win a game where you're kind of under a lot of pressure. And I think with Pep, he's got it right so many times, but it's just Champions League, he just seems to lose his head a little bit. And I think hopefully he's learned from it because I didn't think City would win their first ever final because it is quite hard to do that. And most teams, I think there's the last 8 teams have not
Yeah.
won their first final.
Since like
So yeah,
2000, every team who's made
yeah,
the debut hasn't won it. So even
yeah,
Chelsea
yeah.
against United. So like,
And you know what? And the thing is, on top of that, we were unbeaten in the competition. So to not lose for the whole competition again is very rare. Because I was saying to my friend, we're unbeaten, and he was actually saying, does that not worry you? Because usually you lose a game. So they're like, Chelsea got their loss out of the way,
yeah,
whereas we didn't. So things like that didn't really help. It looks great on paper, but then it
yeah,
didn't pay off for us in the end. And I don't think, I'm kind of over it pretty
oh yeah,
quickly because I just
yeah,
thought we weren't good enough. So it's not like
yeah.
we went into the game, we played out of our skin, we were brilliant, and
Mm,
Chelsea got some dodgy goal and beat us. Like we weren't good enough. So to me, I think Pep will just have to learn from it. The players will have to learn from it. And hopefully we go back next year
yeah. I
and do a
mean,
Liverpool.
like I say, it's
Hopefully.
part of the process. Like we've
Yeah.
got to the final now. It's just about
Yeah.
the next step of actually winning it. So
Yeah.
we know how to get to the final. Like
Yeah.
we've got past that quarter final.
Yeah. That mental hurdle. Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, we know the process now.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what it's like you say. It's what makes it scary about Chelsea maybe getting Haaland. Like you're
Mm.
saying is they had so many chances that match, and if they had
Oh
Haaland
my
in
God.
that
Yeah.
attack, he's finishing those chances. So
should have been like 3-0.
Yeah, like if they get Haaland, they'll be
I think
next season.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. No, I mean it's yeah, it's a difficult one because it's like I find it difficult to say it was an unsuccessful season when you've won the Premier League, but you know we have lost the Champions League final, which is obviously not great. But
it's crazy because I was saying to someone, if we'd have lost to PSG, people would have been saying we'd had a better season.
Yeah,
because they would have said you went out of the Champions League to PSG. Let's be honest, if we went out to PSG win the Champions League. They're not going to go to back-to-back finals and lose.
Yeah.
So I think they would have won. So I think we'd be talking about losing to the European champions that, you know, got there last year and lost. And I think people would be saying City had a good season because they went further in the Champions League.
Yeah.
But because we lost the final, it's kind of just a disappointing end to the season. And I think if you look at it in context, we did very, very well this season. We had a good season. I just think it's just because it was the last game. It's kind of it puts a bit of a downer on the season.
Yeah.
It's like that 8-1 against Middlesbrough. Like we had a good season that year. I remember leaving the Etihad thinking, oh, we've had a decent season. And then it was that one last game. I actually went on holiday before the game because I didn't go away. And I saw that we got beat 8-1. And it's like everyone talks about that 8-1, but we were actually quite good that season. We beat Man United home and away.
Yeah.
Like we had a decent season, but just that one game at the end, it just kind of put a downer on things. And I feel like this is kind of why people are so, you know, quick to say we hadn't had a good season. But yeah, it's one of them things. I think we'll learn from it.
Yeah, I think yeah, you like you say, you can't really say it's not a successful season, but I think it was a difference between having a good season and a great season. That's what it was like. And then United obviously lost the Europa League, which made it a bit more bearable. Because I mean, did you watch the penalty shootout for that?
Yeah. Great penalty shootout.
They just hit like every time itself. It was like side netting or top bin, like and then their goalkeeper set up, and you're like, all right, like this is going to be a classic goalkeeper penalty. Stuck it top bin. You're like, all right. Then De Gea steps up and just does a classic goalkeeper penalty. You're like, oh, there we go. That's what he should be like. But I mean, I think that highlighted that sort of like why United are looking for another centre back, because without Maguire, like, so I think the links with Koundé, is it Pau Torres and Varane? Because without Maguire, I mean, I'm not Maguire's biggest fan, but without Maguire, that defense is lost. So like it really did sort of highlight why they're looking for a new one.
I knew from when they lost that final that it was going to make it a lot easier if we didn't win. But yeah, it's just one of them things. I think they were the best team in that competition in terms of, you know, who should be winning it. It should have been them. And it's kind of like if we ever didn't get out the group and went to the Europa League, it's like we'd be expected to win it. There's no way we could go into the Europa League and not win. You know, they'd be laughing us out of the place. So I think the Champions League, it's one of them. It's a lot of people don't like to admit it, but it is a cup competition, and cup competitions, like, you never know who's going to win. Like, I thought City were the best team in the competition. Chelsea fans are saying it was them, but I think City were the best. We didn't lose. We played very, very well. We knocked out teams. I know they knocked out teams comfortably, but we actually did in terms of scorelines as well. And, you know, we played very, very well. To beat PSG home and away 2-1, you know, is great. To beat Dortmund home and away is great. Like, what we did to actually get to the final, I thought was good. I thought we had a harder group than they had, which we came out of. So, yeah, there was things like that. I thought we had the best sort of, apart from Atletico Madrid, because I think Atletico Madrid was much harder than Mönchengladbach. I think every other round we're kind of equal.
Yeah.
Or theirs, if anything, were a little bit easier, because I think Porto was easier than Dortmund, and I think Real Madrid, as they are now, are easier than PSG. So I think in terms of how we played, I thought we were the best team, but it's a knockout, it's a cup competition, it's a knockout. Doesn't matter. If you don't turn up in that final, you will not win it, and that's what happened. So, you know, you just have to hold your hands up, fair play. You know, I'm not really. I'm not angry at Chelsea because I thought Chelsea were better than us. So
it's just that, it's like I say, it's the nature of knockout competitions. It's the nature of sort of competitions. It's the nature of football that this stuff happens. And it's like it's fine margins. I remember Pep saying that like the difference was a few years ago against Tottenham, they had a handball goal that should have been ruled out, and then we had a goal ruled out for offside just. And this time round against PSG, they hit the bar at home, and then we went and scored the other end. So it's fine margins.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's unfortunate, but
the only thing that I was gutted about is I thought it's a shame on Aguero, because I think Aguero probably would have been nice to see him win that.
Yeah.
But, you know, the ideal scenario I said before would be a Barcelona versus Man City final, because I don't think Pep would overthink it too much if it's against Barcelona, because he knows Barcelona. So I feel like he wouldn't overthink it. I think he would kind of just play his best team and kind of hope for a good game, because he's not, you know, he doesn't hate them or anything like that. And then it's either we win it or Aguero wins it. I wouldn't be too mad at that. So hopefully that's what happens next season. But no one else will probably lose to an Aguero goal, and then it'll just be hell. So no.
Cool. Is there anything else you want to speak about? Or yeah, cool. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.